Hi, my name is Lundy, aka Cancerian Empath, and I'm here really just to talk for a little while and maybe pull from a couple of oracle decks. But I need to talk about a subject that I hold near and dear to me, and that is the twin flame journey. If I didn't mention it before, I am a twin flame. I was introduced to the twin flame journey about 14 months ago. That was when I discovered that I was a twin flame, which was really shocking. I didn't understand what that meant. I had never heard of a twin flame. I didn't even know that you could have a spiritual connection with someone of the opposite sex or even the same sex, but it's very real, and that's all I can really say about it. So I will begin right now by talking about what my journey has been like. uh Again, my name is Lundy, aka Cancerian Empath, for those who didn't catch it in the beginning. Okay, here we go. So I ran into someone a year ago on May 27th in my neighborhood. I live in New York, by the way. Someone that I've known for about 17 or 18 years, never looked at him in a romantic or sexual way. Always thought he was cool. And the one thing that stuck out with me about him was his smile. He had a very nice smile, and to date he still does. uh, I remember that smile, me calling it the $1,000,000 smile, because he has these really bright straight white teeth, and when he smiles, it's like, if he wants to get something from you, that smile would actually get it for him. But I never looked at him 17, 18 years ago as anything other than someone from the neighborhood who I thought was very cool. So, what eventually happened was my twin was, how would I say? I won't use any bad names to describe him, except to say that he had a criminal mind. He wasn't. He was basically a bad boy. Uh, I ran into him. He went away for a little while as a result of being a bad boy for 10 years, and he went away in 2007. And he was released from prison in 2017. I ran into him on May 27th. And I got to be honest, when I first saw him, I, number one, was stuck on stupid because he was the finest man I had ever seen in my life. But when I saw him, I didn't recognize him right away. I really didn't. Mainly being because he had worked out a lot, gained quite a few pounds, and it was all solid and well proportioned. And to be as gorgeous as he is, just like topped it off. So when I saw him again, it was like seeing him for the first time, because I didn't know who he was at first. But when I saw him, like I said, I was stuck. And we locked eyes, and I don't know, for some reason, it just kind of, the word hello just kind of fell out of my mouth. And he said, "Hey, how you doing?" And I said, "I'm good." And he kept walking. And I watched him go all the way to the corner of my block and then turn the corner. And there were a few more incidents where I would see him, he would see me, we would lock eyes, we would speak, and that would be the end of that. So finally one day I was in the local bodega. I don't remember exactly what I was buying, but he came in the store behind me. I tried to ignore him, but looking at him is it was very hard to ignore. So again, we locked eyes. He went to the back of the store, got something, and came back up front. And when I turned around, he was standing behind me on the line, just staring down at me because I'm not the tallest person in the world. He looked down at me, I looked up at him, and I spoke, and he kind of reached over me, I guess because the line was taking too long, and he paid for what he wanted, and he left. So I paid for what I was going to buy, and then I left. When I got to the corner of my block, he was actually standing on the corner waiting for me, and he said to me, "Take down my number." And before I gave him my number, before I took his number, something just asked me to ask him how old he was. And at that time, he was 38. This was last year again in 2018. So once he told me how old he was, I was, grateful that he was finally of age. But I took down his number, and I forgot exactly when he said he was going to call me, but he didn't say that he was going to call me that same day. But eventually he ended up texting me that same night, and I was at work, and we exchanged a few words back and forth, and that was the end of that. So fast forward a week later, he asked me to meet him in the park, and I met him in the park. It was nighttime, and we're talking for about 5 minutes, and then out of nowhere he just kisses me, and I liked it a lot. And he asked me if I wanted to go somewhere, and I was like, yeah. So we got in his truck, and we went to this park, and we walked around the track that was in the park, and we held hands, and we talked. And I remembered that it was very windy, and it was very windy. So we decided to go back to my neighborhood. And before I got out of his truck, when he dropped me off, I don't know, I was just compelled to kiss him. And the first kiss was nice, but it was something about the second kiss where I was literally stuck. It sent a chill throughout my entire body, and my heart was racing, and I got out of his truck and practically skipped home because I was very giddy and excited. Now, a year and 7 months prior to running into this man, my 24-year-old son was murdered 3 blocks away from my house. He was shot twice in the back and once in the butt. He was killed by an off-duty court officer. And I was in a very dark place for a very long time. So running into this man and being emotionally awakened was something that I needed, because I hadn't been eating, I hadn't been sleeping, I hadn't really been hanging out with my friends. I was kind of just like closed off in my bedroom in my house, not really interacting with anyone, including my kids and grandkids. And he broke me out of that. And I was grateful that I was finally seeing light at the end of the tunnel. So this is May that this took place, that I ran into him. And in between that, he reminded me that I knew who he was. And once he began to describe who he was and what he used to do and where he used to do it, and then we exchanged social media information, and I went on his page and went through his pictures, and I saw a picture of him when he was younger, and I realized I do know this man. I do know him. And like I said, I didn't recognize him right away because he had put on weight. He had gotten taller, and, the person that I remembered back in the day was tall, skinny, and had braids in his hair. And this man that I ran into was tall, not skinny, but muscular, and was bald. He had shaven all his hair off. So, fast forward from May, things were going good. from May to July, and then August, he just stopped speaking to me. He stopped looking at me. He stopped calling me. He stopped texting me, and I didn't understand what was happening. And I kind of fell into a deep depression because by August, when he stopped speaking to me, I had already fallen in love with him. But there were a series of things that had taken place before he stopped speaking to me. So if you don't mind, I'd like to rewind just a bit. July, I would have to say the 4th of July, as a matter of fact. He put a picture of himself on social media. I commented on the picture, and before I knew it, I was receiving a friend request from some woman. I didn't think anything of it at first, but I saw that he was the mutual friend, and I didn't accept the friend request. So I texted him and I told him that this particular woman sent me a friend request, and his response was, "Oh, that's the chick I live with." I said, "The chick you live with?" He said, "My wife." And I'm like, "Excuse me?" So that was how I found out that he was married, and I was obviously upset, and he said to me, "Meet me in the park." So I met him in the park, and he explained his situation, and stupid me decided to try to ride things out with him because he gave me the impression that the relationship was just about over. He was just about to walk out the door, and that, there was some issues surrounding the marriage. And like an idiot, I fell for it, and I stayed for a while. So going back to August, when he stopped speaking to me, texting me, calling me, even giving me eye contact when he saw me on the street, it really hurt. That lasted from August 24th to September 24th, when I decided, okay, you're not speaking to me, I'm not going to speak to you either. So I did what he did. I stopped calling, I stopped texting, I stopped giving him eye contact, I stopped speaking to him when I saw him on the street, and out of nowhere, he started going out of his way again to get my attention, and like an idiot, I fell into it again. And I guess, I don't know if you call it vulnerability, sucker for love, I don't know what you call it. All I know was that I went back. And by December of 2018, he was ignoring me again. I didn't actually find out that he was my twin until October, because some things were taking place in my life. And one of those things being the fact that I was single and kind of playing the field. So I had 2 other suitors that were, in my midst. So basically, I loved this man and wanted to be with this man, but was still holding on to 2 other suitors. And out of nowhere, I found myself wanting to let them go, and I did. As a matter of fact, quite a few things that I was doing that were not positive, I no longer wanted to do them. And I couldn't understand why I was changing without my permission. So I started to inquire about what could be going on in my life through tarot readings. I would go on YouTube, and one day I went on this one tarot reading, and it mentioned something about a twin flame, and that my particular horoscope was in twin flame energy. And I'm like, what is a twin flame? So I started to Google twin flames. I started to seek counsel from paying tarot readers, and that's when it was confirmed to me that not only was he my twin flame, but that we've had many past lives together. And it spooked me a little bit, but at the same time, with everything that I've been through in my life, I really wasn't too surprised. I was just a little shocked And I need to talk to all my fellow twin flames out there who do not understand this journey. It's a very rough journey. It is a journey of spiritual challenge, emotional challenge, physical challenge, mental challenge. It is a challenge. It is a challenge, I swear. There have been many days where I wanted to give up. And at first, this journey that I'm on, this twin flame journey, for me was all about coming into union with my twin, but I began to notice some things. And those things being, as I'm on this journey, I would also inquire about spirituality. One of the things that happened to me is that I changed religions. I consider myself a spiritualist. I don't practice any kind of Christianity, any kind of denomination regarding Christianity. Now, mind you, I have nothing against Christianity. I have nothing against other religions. I am a firm believer that if whatever religion you're practicing is keeping you on the straight and narrow path, I'm all for it. So I don't want any of my subscribers to think that I'm bashing any kind of religion, because that's not what I'm doing at all. My family members are Christians, quite a few of them. And my oldest daughter is a Christian, and she's living a wonderful life. And guess what? I'm all for it. But I wanted to come on here and give fellow twin flames hope and clarity that this journey will change you without your permission, but it's changed for the better. So don't try to, and it's just a suggestion, please don't fight it, don't deny it, don't avoid it. Just face it head on, address it. And whatever your shadow side is, it's suggested that you work on it by vibrating higher. One of the things that I do to vibrate higher is I pray a lot. I pray to my ancestors. I pray to my archangels. I pray to the universe. I sage myself. I sage my home. I sage everything that I come in contact with that I believe will clear any negative energy in my path. What else am I missing that I should tell you? Right. During this journey, should you find yourself losing friends coming out of a bag on you, family members, you're finding yourself having conflict with family members, if you find yourself cutting people off left and right, that is nothing more than spirit clearing your path for you to ascend. I myself had to cut off 3 people recently in the last few weeks, but I've also noticed that I've been on a chopping spree for the past 7 months, clearing away things and people which no longer serve me. The new moon came out yesterday, and I just decided to leave anything and everyone who does not serve my highest good behind me. And I'm noticing that my energy is much more peaceful. I'm happier. I don't have everything I want, but I have everything I need. What else? Yeah, it's a definite journey. I may as well tell you this. The day before yesterday, I wrote my twin flame an in-depth, detailed letter, just pouring my heart out, telling him how I felt, what I would like to see happen between he and I. And his response was, I'm not looking for a relationship. And even though I should have been devastated and hurt, because of the spiritual journey that I'm on, I just accepted it. And I let him know that I was going to move on with my life. and that I was going to find someone else, which will eventually happen. And I've kind of been okay since then. I'm not going to dwell on the fact that he doesn't want to give me a relationship and I want a relationship. If your twin does not want to give you a relationship, I have to let you know you do not have to be with your twin. Right now, your only task should be to vibrate higher. But if you are insistent on having a relationship with your twin, you must vibrate higher, and your twin will eventually appear when you stop looking. And I'm finding that out slowly but surely, because I used to do things like constantly check his social media, check the karmic's social media to see what she's doing and if she's doing it with him, and going in the neighborhood where I know he would be, and seeing if he had anyone else, and it was just crazy. And I had to live in my truth, which was that I was not happy doing those things, because it became the main focal point of my life. I hadn't had a good feeling in over a year since my son was murdered. So when this good feeling came my way, I obsessed over it. But I had to realize that my spiritual journey is far more important than coming into union with my twin. So whatever you guys do, don't wish the karmic ill will. Send her love and light. Send him love and light. Send yourself love and light first. Send your family love and light. Just send everybody love and light, including those people that you have to cut off, that were once friends and are now considered enemies. I know you may be upset with them. Maybe they said and did some things to you that they shouldn't have, but send them love and light anyway. One more thing before I get into the reading is that, I want to touch on spell work. Should you decide to do spell work, I suggest that you don't try to do any love spells on your twin, or any kind of spell work on the karmic to get them to go away. Or if you do any spell work, please let it be for the higher good of you spiritually. I don't suggest that you try to do spell work on anyone else. And know that you are divinely protected, and anyone who tries to do spell work on you, it will backfire. And that's all you need to feel comforted and secure with. And I think that's basically all I have to say about my twin flame journey, is that I am now in the phase of my life where I'm focusing more on myself. And yes, I do think about him quite often. When you have a spiritual connection with someone, I'm finding out that getting them off your mind will be next to impossible. So if you're trying, good luck with that, because I've been trying it for 14 months and it hasn't worked so far. So balance is key. Balance is important in this journey. Excuse me. So with that, I'm going to read from the Romance Angels deck and see what comes out for my fellow twin flames. So here we go. I'm going to read from the Romance Angels deck by Doreen Virtue. Close that door, please. Thank you. That's one of my twins. I have 10-year-old twins, Mecca and Michelle, and that was Michelle. so the first card up, getting to know each other. As you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens. So that's pretty self-explanatory. For those of you who are not in union with your twin as of yet, just keep your thoughts and your words positive, please. It's very important. Very important. For those of you who are in union or coming into union, it is very important to get to know each other. Take the time out to get to know each other. So the next card up is children. Your love life is being affected by children. So apparently children is a major factor in your union, most likely. Not really sure what your situation is. I know what my situation is, so this does resonate with myself as well. The next card, flirt. Extend your lighthearted energy to others. So that is very important in new unions. When you come into union with someone, it is very important to be lighthearted and basically treat it like it's the honeymoon stage of your union, which it is. So just, yeah, this resonates with me as well. Next card, playfulness. To recapture romance, allow your inner youthful spirit of fun to shine. That also resonates. So it seems like the energy is kind of identical with mine and yours as well. I hope that everything I said helped. If you would like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And most likely I'll be back on tonight to do another reading. And you guys have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon. Please stay hydrated and cool in this hot weather. It is very muggy and it is very uncomfortable. So please be careful out there. Enjoy. Good luck.